Okay, so I am recording again. In this video, I want to talk you through the 9 weeks objective exam. So I'm going to scroll all the way down our detail sheet. I'm just going to keep scrolling. This is our first 9 weeks detail sheet. I'm going to scroll all the way down week 8 to week 9. Okay. And I already posted a video of the SAQ, the short answer question essay exam. This is our first 9 weeks objective exam, which has to be taken over 2 days. Day 1 is our stimulus-based multiple choice question. And I put a link right here to the master study guide. And before I click on that, you can see part 2 are the traditional multiple choice questions. Also here, I'll even highlight this in red. I've already did this for chapter 6. As we work through each chapter, I will be updating to customize, right, our study guide for our exam. So as I click on the link for the master study guide, which again, I could also access if I was in, sorry, Zoom is so frustrating to work with. So if I open up our classroom, okay, it's also in our exams, essay and objective, first 9 weeks objective exam. You can see there's a link to the master study guide. The easiest place to get it though is from our first 9 weeks detail sheet, right? Click right there and that will open it up. So it tells you right here on Wednesday, the 20th, there are going to be 40 questions that appear on part 1 of your objective exam. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So it's basically, obviously it's not all going to be the same, as there's a lot more questions that can come from chapter 6. There's 47 potential questions versus only 12 from chapter 11. So I will get 40 of those, okay? As we go through each chapter, right, you're going to want to click each one of these. So I'm going to click on chapter 6 here. These are the chapter 6 stimulus-based questions. There's a heading page. So you can see number 1 through 3 deals with a historical interpretation of the American Revolution. Okay. You can read through that. I'm not going to read it all to you. Number 2, or excuse me, the second stimulus is Robert Morris writing about problems with the Articles in 1782. You could definitely go ahead and answer those right now. You can see the next one is George Washington letter to John Jay, right? Where it's, again, talking about issues related to the Articles of Confederation. So you could answer some of these right away. So just like on the summer assignment exam, you can't use a packet on the test. Certainly answering the questions ahead of time is going to make this a lot easier. Okay. So you're going to want to go ahead and answer those as we go through. Again, you're not going to want to deal with 47 questions just at the end of chapter 6, nor are you going to want to deal with 100 and some odd questions at the end of chapter 11. If you work through them as you go, it is A, manageable. B, the content is fresh in your head. C, I can help you. I can't help you very much at the end. You can see from Thursday's part, okay, this number is going to change, right? This is worth a total of 80 points. That's correct still. And as I scroll down here, sorry, as I click here, here is the study guide for the traditional multiple choice questions from what we do in class. And again, right now, there's 62. That's probably going to get tweaked just a little bit, okay? As I just revised all of the chapter 6 questions. So let me open this up. Again, I am clicking here for the part 2 study guide. So I open it up and you can see there are, again, it's much easier if you work on this as you go. Just like with the stimulus-based questions, you can collaborate. That's not cheating when you're working together on this. The essay questions, the SAQ, essay exam questions, you can work together. So, here, if I'm making a study guide, powers of the executive, what are the important ones that we emphasized in class, right? You can go ahead and make a list there. How was slavery codified in the Constitution? Well, if this is my study guide and I'm studying, I'm going to say, oh yeah, it's the 3/5 clause, right? Gave more representation to slave states. Okay. How else was slavery codified in the Constitution? Oh yeah. International slave trade protected from congressional legislation for 20 years, right? And of course, the third way slavery was codified in the Constitution was a fugitive slave clause. I might put in parentheses, slaves must be returned if they flee the state, right? That would be how I would study. Or, powers of the executive. I might type in here, well, we emphasize this person is the commander in, long week. Commander in chief. They could veto laws. They could make treaties / foreign policy. They can appoint judges, right? What else did we emphasize in class? Oh yeah, they can, pardon an individual, right? The important stuff that we talked about. And now all of a sudden I'm building a study guide, right? Lockean liberalism and civic humanism, right? Talking about civic humanism, right? An emphasis on local government, right? This is what the anti-federalists believed. This is what prevailed under the Articles. Anti-Fed thought this could only happen at state level, right? And here I'm just winging it, right? But I'm starting to build a study guide as we go. So this is the master document. I better delete all of this, right? But you get an idea as to what I would be doing if I was studying. And you can see I updated all of this for chapter 6, right? I updated there's 15 questions, or 17 questions that come from chapter 6, 19 questions, right? We have so many lessons in here. We have 8 lessons that deal with this, okay? So as we go through, and I just literally redid all of these questions on the 25th. So if, let's just say, look, I get it, life happens, you're jammed up, you don't get to this till another week, and you want to go back to, oh man, where are my notes on reading the Constitution? Click here, it takes you right to our Google Classroom. And with our Google Classroom, there was the outside reading, but what you really want to click on are the electronic copies of our notes if you don't want to rely on the hard copy or your own notes. So there you have it. That's the part 2. Let me close that out. This is, again, using the master study guide. As we go through each chapter, you can see all of the stimulus-based questions that are here. And then you can see the traditional multiple choice questions that are here. You can't use the study guide on the exam, but it will help you. Again, about 40 stimulus-based questions you'll take on Wednesday, the 20th, and somewhere between 60 and 70 traditional multiple choice questions you will answer on Thursday, the 21st. It's worth 80 points. It's about 11%, 10%. I have to double check that. I've revised this so many times, but that's at least 10% of your semester grade. Okay. All righty. Stop share.